Hello. Hey, we're here. We're live. Hey, Joey. How are you doing today?
Hi. I was
No.
just staring off into space for a minute, and
Oh,
then
that's all right.
I remembered we were
We're
a
doing things. We're talking.
podcast.
We're live. People can see our faces. It's wild. Well,
Hi.
today we are listening to the show Noah Asked, and I am
We're
Noah.
listening to it. You and I are listening to it
Yeah,
specifically.
we are
We're
listening to it as live as anyone could listen to it. So,
Whoa. Do you think that'll ever be a
whoa.
thing? Like when we make a Patreon, it'll be like, "Hey, join our Patreon. You'll get to like have our thoughts before we actually put them out." Oh, they'll get to see that
That'd
we
be
script
weird.
every single one of these. Like every word we say right now, you can't see it. It's on a doc on my screen. I'm reading off a script
Man.
right now. This is my one big monologue.
Yeah. Why do you think I never actually look at the camera? I don't know if I should have drawn attention to that, but I'm usually staring at myself on a camera and
Oh,
our
I
script.
definitely yeah. No, I actually move the screen of like the pictures of us over under the camera just so I will look in that general direction.
That's
But
nice.
anyways, what show is
Anyways,
this, Noah?
this is Noah Asked, and you are listening to it, not us. And today I'm going to ask about resolutions and change that comes along with it. So exciting,
You all know we about that petty cash,
right?
that change.
But yeah, I figured a lot of the reason that I was thinking about it is one, it's a new year, but like two, we're about to go through a lot of change. And so
hmm
I thought that was a crazy situation because for those of you who don't know, I'm living in Kansas City, but I'm about to move to Lawrence, and me and Joey are going to get a place together. So that's pretty dope.
Oh my god.
Did you not know
We're
this,
all
Joey?
what?
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to spring it on you.
Holy shit, I have to find someone to lease my apartment. Or wait, I
Good
did,
luck.
and then they decided they didn't
Then
want
they
me.
left. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Oh, no, for like so I guess just backstory, this will just be us talking about us this episode. But no, so I live in an apartment that's like segregated out so like bedrooms are leased instead of the entire apartment. So I'm leasing a bedroom and that is like one of the hardest things to like put out there and be like, hey, it's a 3-bedroom apartment. There's 1,000 square feet. You've got your private bedroom, private bathroom, and all that. And then people want to come in, they're like, oh, sweet, like cool, like when can me and my like 3 friends come along or 2 friends come? It's like, oh no, it's like it's only the one bedroom.
Uh-huh.
And then there's issues because it's a co-ed apartment, but then like people come in like with their daughter, like a mother and daughter came in, looked at it, and like, oh, there's 2 boys also living here. I'm like, it's fine, it's fine. As far as I know, nobody's like doing anything bad. But yeah,
Mhm.
no, we're about to move in together, and I don't know about you, Noah, but I'm pretty excited.
So am I. I'm hyped. Then we don't have to do this weird hangout thing for our podcast. Maybe we'll
Yeah.
do it anyways. We'll just be across from each other, but we'll still do the hangouts.
Oh yeah, or we'll just be like in the same. Oh no, we probably can do it in the same room. We'd probably have terrible echo. We'll just do it in our own bedrooms still.
Like, Jose, shut your door. I can hear your echo.
Oh, dude, that'd be fun. I get up and like run over and slap you in the back of the head. Watch like me leave my webcam and show up on your webcam, or
That'd
you
be
just,
so weird. That'd be so meta.
yeah, you just watch like your long ass arm just like reach across. It's around. That'd be crazy. No, what do you want to do? The first thing in our apartment that we are definitely gonna get, which as of recording this podcast, we have not even gotten approved for the apartment that we're looking at yet.
Yeah, we're talking like we have it because we're gonna have it.
Yeah, but oh, how great would it be if on like I don't know though next week we're just like, hey, so we're homeless.
We still got
um,
our computers and internet, but we're homeless.
yeah, but what is the first thing you want to do? Like, what do you want to like? I know that you move a lot, and so you probably it's like not a big deal to you. But, like to christen our new space where we live. Like, do you have anything that you'd want to do?
A backflip.
Okay.
My first ever backflip in my first apartment, not with a family member.
All right. No, I'll record it. That's gonna go up on Humorish sometime next week. Wait, no, not next week. Is it next?
2 weeks, maybe.
Wait,
Well,
2 weeks.
depends, but
Yeah. Okay.
probably on time for I don't know though. So
Yeah, definitely won't
yeah,
be on.
guys, we have a second show that plays every other week, so go to that one too.
Yeah. There's there's speculation in the higher ups. I've been talking to the CEOs of our company, and they're saying that once we move in together, we might be doing both shows every week. So
Uh-oh.
we'll see.
Man, that sounds like work.
Is this podcast work to you, Noah?
No, I do nothing. I pretend to write down questions and then I talk about ourselves for an hour. So
Yeah, I think it's my favorite part about the podcast is that we can just riff and
for
just
sure.
hang out. And yeah, that is something that's kind of cool about this. I won't call it profession because we're not like making enough to like live, but
Mhm.
we broadcast through Anchor, uh, and they pay us like sponsorship stuff to have pre-roll and mid-roll on our not videos, but the audio versions. So if you're watching on YouTube, you're getting the free version. You're getting like the full on like experience. But if you listen anywhere else, haha, you are paying us, which you should. Go and listen to that shit on repeat, guys. Go on Spotify and just like
We need those pennies.
yeah. But no, I was like telling my brother, I was like, hey, I started doing podcasts and whatever, and we actually, started making money, but not. I'll level with you. We've made less than a quarter at this point. uh, so, but no, he brought up. He's like, well, because at the time I think we had 15 cents when I told him. He's like, yeah, but that's 15 cents that is in existence as like yours that you made just by talking to your best friend. And that to me is the most beautiful thing in the world. I'm like, yeah, yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's pretty like cool. Just like the idea of like how this like isn't work, but like somebody's paying us to do it. Not a
Mhm.
lot, but something. And
Yeah.
it's cool.
And maybe someday they'll pay us more. Please pay us more. Someone please
Right?
pay us a lot of money. Like pay us $1,000 to do like those shitty
For $1,000, we'd do anything.
what is the most you would do for $1,000? Noah, go.
The most I would do for $1,000. Um,
Let's break that
so
down. That's 10. Wait, no, that's 10. That's 100 hours at $10 an hour.
okay. I would get in a speedo.
Okay.
I could do that for $1,000. I don't know what I would do though.
That's
Take
so
a bath
easy.
in eggs. In a
Okay,
speedo, taking a bath in raw eggs. That's my
for like
thousand
a
dollars.
video?
Yeah.
Really? That seems kinda low. I mean, I'd get in a Speedo for $10.
I know, but like I don't know how intense it can get. Like I don't want to oust myself as a deviant.
Okay, well, I mean, I get whatever. $1,000, dude. I'd do so much shoddy A for $1,000.
Dude, I don't
Although
even know. What would I do? I don't know. And it's weird to think about like having dead air to like what would I do? So
oh, okay. Well, I can
I
riff
just
for a
tried to
little
think of something real quick. Um but
um
maybe we should get back to the podcast.
oh, yeah, sorry, my bad. I
No,
forgot. Carry
it's
on.
height. But yeah, so I guess I want to start by asking if you have a resolution for this new year.
I don't.
You don't.
Alright,
You were
next
saying that
question.
you're talking about a Tough Mudder. Is there something
Oh,
like
yeah.
getting prepped for that? It's not like a resolution, but
No, yeah, that's kind of like, that ties into something that I started last year really, where I don't really believe in New Year's resolutions. I think a lot of times they kind of fall through. Because like if you're gonna do something, then you shouldn't put it off, you know?
mhm,
In my mind, it's like, oh, well, I'm unhappy with myself. I'm happy with this thing, or maybe not even that. It's like maybe I just want to improve upon something or other. And that's what a lot of people do for their New Year's resolutions, where it's like, oh, I'm gonna work out more. I'm gonna do this and do that. Uh, you can make a resolution anytime. It doesn't have to be a New Year's one. So, what the Tough Mudder ended up being was uh, last year around April-ish. I kind of realized like I'd gained a lot of weight since high school. In high school, I was 180 pounds, and at my heaviest last spring, I was like 145 or 100, 245 ish, which is a substantial amount of weight to put on. So I was like, well, I'm gonna start working out. I'm gonna feel better about myself. Uh, and that's all fine and dandy, and you can power yourself on for however long on that. Some people go longer. I tend to go like about a month is when like my motivation kind of runs out. Uh, and so the Tough Mudder became a goal for me, so to keep me active. And so now I have something to kind of reach for. So this August, I'm going to Denver, Colorado, and running 10 miles through mud and obstacles. And
Oh boy.
yeah, uh,
I
and
wish I could say I could do that, but I'm fairly positive I could not. So,
I mean, I don't think I can do it right now. Even though I've been like quote unquote training for months. Uh,
mhm.
I think I'm still kind of far behind, but I'm getting really serious about it. I'm starting to do the dieting portion of the whole training, which is for me the hardest because I just love food. Um, and yeah, because like when I started working out, I was like, okay, I'm gonna lose weight. What I'll do is I'll cut pop, uh, and I'll cut like as much like stuff as I can and like portion down. I didn't want to diet. Like I don't like saying it's like, oh, I can't eat that because of my diet, because
Mhm.
I don't know, it feels pretentious and weird to me. So I was like, oh, I'll just eat in a non-absorbent amount, and I'll work out enough that it won't matter. Turns out, uh, if you want to get in shape to do the Tough Mudder kind of stuff, you have to feed your body the correct nutrients to build the correct muscles.
Yeah, in a very specific way to be like, oh, you're gonna have enough nutrients to burn fat, but also gain muscle, but also stay healthy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's a weird thing, and now we're gonna go off into like some nutrition fitness podcast now. Uh ooh, that'd be cool. Can some
Noah's
what are
nutrition.
Noah's nutrition? I was gonna see if like what is that PYT or PYR or whatever. So, like give me pre-workout and creatine.
Yeah.
uh I'll wear the douchebag stuff. I don't care. That stuff is expensive. Um but no, like you have to be lean to do like a Tough Mudder. It's like I in high school I was a power lifter, and so I was more bulky and had less stamina. And so now I have to switch my mind up because that's the kind of working out that I'm used to. And like in my mind, I'm like, oh yeah, I want to lift weight and I'm just gonna put on as much weight as I can and like go like as heavy as I can or whatever.
Mhm.
And I can't do that. I have to like limit my weight and just do as many reps as I can and hold it for as long as I can. It's all like
But
stamina.
man, you're gonna have some great definition.
Yeah. No, I probably will. It's weird to think about that in
That you're gonna be shredded.
I probably won't be shredded, but but like by what is it, 7 months from now, I will be in the best shape of my life. Like probably for like I will be in the best shape that I've ever been and the best shape I will ever be.
Right?
It's like cuz
Yeah.
after that I'm probably going to like get back home from Colorado and be like, "Wow, that was bullshit."
Never doing that again.
Never again. Go
No,
back,
I
eat a bunch of
completely
food.
understand. Yeah, it's wild to think like looking back on your past self and being like how things have changed in perspective and
Mhm,
like working out and like becoming fitter is just one part of that for you.
mhm,
But like also like with college and like mindsets changing and learning new things, like people are changing all the time and it's really interesting to watch it happen.
mhm. Do you have anything that's like that with you where you look back and you're like, "Oh, wow, I've changed so much since this," or I've like,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah, there's some like political ideologies. I was thinking about it this morning. I can't remember exactly what it was, but when I was a kid, I like or just younger, I couldn't understand like why that was important and why that happened. And I was like, oh, as you like get older, you're like, oh, like there's more pieces to it that like as a younger person you just can't fully understand.
Mhm.
Or like being a younger person, you haven't had to have the responsibility to like need to understand those things. And so that was one of them. But I wish I could tell you what it was, but I can't remember off the top of my head.
Oh, you're alright.
Mhm.
I was just throwing the question back to you. Uh, and speaking of throwing the question back to you, do you have any New Year's resolutions?
No,
Hear talk about No,
yeah,
you do
no,
have a question that both of us literally said no to.
I'm sorry. I knew the answer would be no, and then I want to discuss why it's no.
Okay, carry on.
No, that's all right. Um, I guess since you're working out and you said that like I could join you, I think it would be nice to be healthier and put some effort in. But I don't know if I want to call it a New Year's resolution because the same way you said how like people like have diets, it's like now you're putting a label on it, and I don't know why the label's important, but it definitely can like uh impede your ability to do it.
Mhm.
And so that's an interesting thing too, is people who are like, I'm going on diet, like are less likely to succeed than like, oh, I'm just going to generally eat a little healthier.
Yeah, and I think it's because what they do is mentally they put themselves in a place where they're like, "This is a temporary thing."
Hmm.
Because if you look at people who where like, this is when I started working out, my main idea before I had the Tough Mudder in mind is like, I'm just going to be healthier. I'm not it wasn't like, "Oh, I'm just gonna start working out and start, like, dieting." It's like, "Oh, I'm going to change my lifestyle." And, that's what diets should be anyways. When people are talking about it's like, "Oh, yeah, I went paleo for a month and lost this much weight." You're not doing yourself any favors doing that because once you go back to all those fatty foods, your body actually compounds them back like twice as fast, I think.
Hmm.
Is this one of the statistics I read? Don't quote me on that. But yeah, no, like when you diet, that is implying or it should imply that your lifestyle has changed, not you're just going through a phase or a fad.
Yeah. And when you put a label on it, I feel like it's implying that it's going to be work and that you're going to have to change something about yourself.
Mhm.
And like it will be no matter how you like put it. But when you like frame it that way, then it's like looking like, oh, like if I'm going to work, eventually I'll have to stop working. Whereas
Mhm.
if you think of it as a lifestyle change, then it's like framing it in a way that like puts it as like, oh, this will just become a lasting part of me.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think that's a really important mentality when it comes to like changing anything really about yourself is like understanding that once you start this thing, you're gonna do it until you die. That's basically what it is. That's like what working out is hopefully gonna end up being for me, or maybe I'll just continue doing Tough Mudders until I can no longer use my joints. But
Hmm.
yeah, no, that's a good resolution. I hope you do come and
Yeah.
work out with me. I'll
Thank you.
take some.
Yeah. No, I would love to be healthier, but
Yeah, take
we'll
a
see how
video
that
of us
works out.
like running our first mile together.
Uh, we can vlog it,
Like
Jose.
just the shakiest video of just like or maybe not because I have the Pixel, which has in-body stabilization. Uh,
No,
but yeah.
no. But with the resolutions, like how neither one of us have one. Um, but there is kind of like some pressure to have one. And I find it weird that like society puts that on us when like people are generally pretty averse to change. And so I was curious if you had any idea where that came from.
Hmm. Well, I think it wouldn't surprise me if I found out that it came from like some sort of marketing ploy. A lot
Hmm.
like, commercial Christmas and all that, where it's like, oh, they just saw like this opportunity. I feel like gyms really cash in on this, where like they maybe saw the opportunity after like the holidays and after everybody like is a glutton for a week or a month.
Hmm.
They're just like, oh, we'll bet you feel bad now because society like Americans
Hmm.
love to eat, but Americans also love to hate on people who are not in shape or hate on people like body shame people and like poop on people who are different. And
For
so
sure.
I bet it wouldn't surprise me if gyms
For
had
sure.
something
I
to
have
do.
seen so many, what is it, Peloton commercials for the bike.
Mhm.
I don't know if
Yeah.
you've seen those, but those started popping up on Hulu and just like normal TV too. And I'm like, wait, I've never heard of Peloton until right at Christmas time when it's like, oh, people are going to buy us presents and use them for New Year's resolutions. And
Yeah.
so,
But yeah, then again, it also wouldn't surprise me if it was a religious thing. You look at like Chinese New Year, or I mean, maybe not even religious. I guess what's the word? A cultural thing.
mhm.
Uh, I believe isn't Yom Kippur like the Jewish New Year, or am I silly? I don't remember if that's how it works.
I don't know. I'm
Um,
uncultured.
yeah, I feel a little bit weird if I brought it up and I don't know what it is. But I learned the word Yom Kippur by watching The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, so don't hate on me because that show's amazing. But but no, so like I think a lot of cultures have like their own like New Year's, and there's something about a new beginning and like the spring and whatever else, and that people are like, oh, well, things are starting over. And so now it's my turn to start over fresh and be better than I was last year. And so, yeah, I mean, I guess that would make sense to me if that's where they think it came from.
Hmm.
But
Yeah, and it's good to have like a time period where you can like officially say that you're going to change, because
mhm,
sometimes it's hard to just start on like a random day with no significance. So
mhm.
it
Yeah.
totally makes sense like why people like hold off to the new year, but like
Mhm.
obviously like people who like really do these things are like, why would you wait? That's so dumb. So,
Yeah. No, and yeah, see that's kind of how I feel though. It's just like why would you wait? And for me New Year's doesn't have any super significance other than like this is a day when I will usually just drink a bunch. It's like this, and I think it's that way for a lot of people. It's like it's a party day or it's a holiday. It's an excuse to go and eat too much and drink too much and go out with your friends and have a good time. And so it's like, well, I could technically do that whenever. I could just come up with my own like friends holiday and probably establish that. Um, but like no, yeah, I think that's it's probably the two options that I would go with is
mhm.
cultural. That do you have any like differing opinions?
On why it started,
Yeah.
I don't think so. Yeah, the whole like advertising thing, like I hear a lot of different things where it's like, oh, that only exists because advertisers like forced it into our brains over tens of years, and then like we just believed it as a thing now. Um,
Like
Cultural is a
diamonds.
good thing. Yeah, I'm
Mhm.
not sure.
Yeah, no, diamonds are not actually rare or whatever because like the one company owns all the mines for them, and so
Hmm.
they make them scarce. And the diamond ring for a wedding was never a thing until they decided to market it that way. And so,
Yeah, yeah. Weddings used to be like really small, but now they're like the most expensive thing in
mhm.
culture because like the rich decided to like be like, hey, we want to do that too, and
And yeah,
jacked
the
up the
rich
price.
ruin everything is what it is.
Cultural gentrification.
But
Yeah.
uh yeah, I don't know.
No.
But do you have
That's
any but what do you want your wedding to be like, Noah? Let's talk about that.
okay. Probably like relatively small, but like nice. It's like I know some people want like small and just like not a big deal, but I think I want it small but like kind of elegant at the same time
Gotcha.
because Noah has style.
Mm, okay. I want mine to be small but huge. It's like
Okay.
I want it to be tiny. Like it's gonna be me, the bride, you, probably one of my bride's stupid friends who I don't like, and then and then the the dude who's like authorized by the state to marry us, and we're gonna be there, and it's gonna be
Which
like this.
is also me in this scenario.
It's also you. Oh, that'd be cool. You get ordained to marry me. Um, because then that'd be funny because everyone thinks we're gay already. So I'd be like, oh, Noah's marrying me.
Um,
Then but, but no, anyways, I digress. My joke, I gotta finish it. So what we're gonna be it's gonna be the 4 people, but it's gonna be, like, the most publicized thing ever. Like, I'm gonna buy out ad space on, like, HBO, on, like, all the major channels. It'll be all over YouTube. Like, everyone's gonna know about it, but no one's gonna be able to see it. And that'll be it.
Wow. I feel so proud. Like I'm going to be part of an exclusive party. And
Mhm.
I don't know if that'll ever happen in any other scenario.
Yeah, and I don't yeah, we'll have to create our own exclusive parties. That's kinda what I've learned.
Yeah.
Is like coming to college and like hanging out with the friends that I do. When you hang out with music people like to party. Musicians and performers are wow, they turn up. I'll tell you that. Um, but then you move on and it's just like if you're hanging out with all the nerds, generally nerds don't party very hard. Like and unless they have like the one jock guy who's also like kind of a secret nerd who gets the nerds into the parties. Um, so it's like you have to make your own excuses to parties. You have to come up with that, which is what I do now, and I just call it a Tuesday, drinking alone.
But if you put a label of a party on it, it makes it
Exactly.
better.
You just call it an exclusive party.
Right.
It's
It
so exclusive.
implies that it'll end at some point, but it never does.
It never ever does.
So speaking of mental health.
Yeah.
No. Oh man. No, but I'm sure I have a question in there somewhere that's related. You threw it off topic. Now I gotta pull it back on the rails.
Wait, I threw it off topic? When have I ever done that, Noah? When have I ever thrown
I
this
apologize. I am wrong.
podcast into a turbulent, crazy
I hate
tangent?
confrontation. You are always right.
So it just turns into an abusive relationship. You're about to move in with me.
Uh-oh.
This is like one of those things where like our parents talk behind our backs, just like they should move in together. Oh my god, he's so abusive.
I can't believe Noah puts up with that. He has to know what's going on.
Yeah. Can't believe think he's friends with Joey. Joey's such a hoe. Look at him with his green hair, flaunting it everywhere. All the ladies want him. There's no way they don't. They don't. Don't worry about it, Mr. and Mrs. Noah's mom and dad. Things are gonna be totally kosher and just fine.
Yeah.
But do you have any more questions? That's as
Oh,
long
I'm
as
sure I
can
do.
on that.
I'm sure I have a question. What do we got here? So in history, we notice a lot of repetition, but like people are like usually generally pretty averse to change. And I'm curious, like, is the repetition a bad thing? Or is it like something natural because we don't like change?
I think that the repetition is this is a really tough one. That's what makes this show tough in general, is that you throw these questions at me and I want to think
You have
about
no time to prepare. Yeah.
That's why I tangent so much. Because I'm like, well, if I just talk about nothing while I think about this, and then eventually everyone forgets about what the actual question was. So
including you.
Including me. But no, I think that repetition is a necessary part of change and evolution, because if there were no like repeating and seeing the possibility of something to happen and change again, or happen again and like turn out in the same way, then there would be no catalyst for change, I don't think. Because you can't just have like, as much as it would be great, you can't just have an exponential curve in a positive direction realistically with like humans involved as far as innovation. There's going to be, there's copying and then taking the copies and finding the. I guess what I'm thinking about right now specifically is technology, where you see like, there's this meme that went around for a while where like iPhone comes out as waterproof. Or no, what was it? I think it was Android versus iPhone, and it was Samsung CEO comes out as gay, Apple CEO comes out as more gayer and waterproof. And so like, you've got copying and then innovation on top of that, and I think that's something that makes America pretty cool in our whole commercial society, is the fact that we are constantly challenged to build up and be better. And so I think that as a society in general, the repetition and like kind of circular motion of our habits is excuse me, is the very thing that actually helps lead us to the next step of our society in a sense.
Yeah, I was listening to a podcast yesterday, and it's Chris Hardwick's podcast, ID10T, and he had a guest on who's an author, and he was saying that when he was learning marketing, there was this like the fundamentals of like creating a new idea, and one of them was create something that only you can do, and the other one was remake something that's already good. And so like in the marketing sense, it's encouraged to reuse old ideas and make them better. And so that's another added reason for why the change happens, or why the repetition happens. I did remember what I was talking about earlier when I was like something I couldn't understand when I was a kid, but now I get now. And I want to talk about it because I think it's interesting. So the idea was, when I was a kid, I was like, why does America need such a big army? Like, I've always been like pro demilitarization and things like that. But like as I'm getting older, I'm like, oh, if America loses its army, there's going to be like a power gap. And when there's a power gap, somebody wants to fill it. And usually it's not like the wholesome people who are like happy to help the world. And it's usually the greedy people who want to be part of the power. And so that was something I'd never like understood as a kid. And I found it really interesting. And we've seen it in history with like Pablo Escobar. Like of course, not a great person, Colombian drug lord, right? And but like when he died, like there was like chaos and gang wars and stuff trying to like fill that void of like this drug lord position. And it's like, oh, well, if you have one person maintaining it all, then that stems the chaos from happening. And so that was
Hmm.
something I couldn't like grasp as a younger person, but now that I'm older, it makes more sense.
Yeah, no, that's a pretty complex topic to try and, like, understand at any age, I think, and but yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Yeah, we need that one person who's strong enough to, like, kinda hold back everything at once, and whether it's, like, strong enough or smart enough or whatever, you know. He was a drug lord, but there's no denying he was probably a pretty smart dude who, like, knew how to manipulate people and, like, use
Mm-hmm.
the businesses to his advantage, so yeah, no, that's yeah, that's cool, good for you.
Yeah.
I don't know
I'm sorry.
that
Okay.
was a very smart thing you said, and I'm not good for smart things, I'm good for
Okay. Let's switch the subject to something you're a little more familiar with.
Oh, sweet, we're
So
gonna bitches and cocaine, huh?
I was already talking about cocaine. Why did you hop in then? Um,
Oh, you didn't mention bitches before.
oh, okay. It has to be in what's the word? Together.
Oh,
They have to
it
be
has to be in
together.
alphabetical order is what it has to be.
Okay. Um, so something I was thinking about is like the best art, and as a broad topic, not just like paintings art, but the best art is always like timeless problems that like people have and like things that anyone can relate through history,
Mhm,
as opposed to things like news that are designed to be consumed and then moved on.
mhm.
So I was curious if like what was I curious about? Uh-oh, did we lose somebody?
Huh?
No. Okay. Oh, I thought I lost you. My internet's going a little wacky.
Oh, it's okay.
Um, so I was curious if the fact that the best art is the timeless things is because we are generally as humans averse to change.
I think I think you can look at it from that way. So here's the fun thing about art is if we're gonna talk about art, where the first thing I'll say is that it's extremely subjective, and anything that I say is could be uh completely different from your interpretation or anyone else's interpretation out there. So no one be giving us that hate because I'm probably gonna say something different than what other people feel. But no, I think the reason to me that these pieces of art tend to be like more polarizing and like things that people can relate to, or they like to have things they can relate to, is part of our social condition where humans are such a social animal that we just want to be accepted. We want to feel like we're a part of something. And so if we have this, you know, piece of art that expresses loneliness or depression, like those are like core things that everyone has felt before. And then you have, of course, other art that's you know, romantic and like full of love, and those are things that a bunch of people have also felt. And so I think it's just like connecting to the core. What's the word? It's just like I was trying to think of another word other than emotions. Uh, but those feelings, like
Mhm.
the
Like,
essence of humanity. There we go.
okay,
That
principles of life and things like that.
yeah, things that
Mhm.
make us human, that kind of differentiate us from other animals, by being able to connect to these core elements where we feel like we're connected. And yeah. Did that make sense? I don't think it did. I think I
I know
tangented
what you're
myself into
trying
a
to say.
circle.
I don't know if it came across as
Yeah,
concisely as you would have liked, but
it
yeah,
definitely didn't.
the idea that like every person in general is going to have some of the same experiences,
Mhm.
and capitalizing on those is the reason why those things are popular, is because they grasp it better than other things.
Yeah,
Possibly.
there you go.
Maybe.
Noah's good at taking my words and making them sound like English. Uh, humans are selfish. Humans are selfish, buddy.
True.
All-seeing activity is in our chat, and he's saying hello, hi. But, but yeah, no, and there is, like, something to being selfish, I think, that we're in an era where being selfish is actually should be or is becoming less looked down upon, and you can take that however you will. But in my opinion, I think more people should be a little bit more selfish, because we have like people who give so much that they overextend themselves and like are not taking care of themselves but taking care of others. Like, which is great. It's a noble cause that we've been raised. It's like, oh, you should always like help others, but take care of
Mhm.
yourself in the process too. Don't hurt yourself. It's one of those virtues that Aristotle kind of brought around.
Again, listening to IDNT, they're talking about pride and
Mhm.
the idea that like pride is a bad thing in general, and it causes like trouble and hubris and things like that. But, like, if you don't have any source of pride, then um, like what gives you the inspiration to like go and take what's yours? And so, without pride, would we get anywhere?
I don't think so. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if that was a rhetorical question, but I really think that all of our quote unquote flaws that we've a lot of times tried to like get rid of, we just kind of, instead of getting rid of them, we just relabel them as things that have a more positive connotation. Uh,
Mhm.
for instance, with pride, uh, is something that has universally been like, oh, well, if you have too much pride, then you're bad. But if you have a lot of honor, then you're good. It's like you just change it to this the linguistics of it. Whatever.
So, the positive version of it,
Mhm.
you know.
You give it a different connotation, and then it become something else. And so, uh, yeah, I think that we need these basic building blocks of humanity to move on in general. So there you go. There's that. There was an answer that was better than the last one I gave. Hopefully,
Yeah, it was embedded in there, hidden behind ums and likes and things. So,
yeah. I know what it is. I know what I am.
for sure. Oh, but that kind of wraps up my questions for today.
All right. I mean,
I
I
don't
think
know if
we've
we
been going on for a fair amount. We can stay and riff, or we can keep going. It's up to you. It's your podcast, bud.
I know, I felt like we used to last a lot longer, so I feel bad that I'm like, "Well, guess we're cutting off at 40 minutes," but no.
Yeah, well, I could make jokes there, but this isn't my podcast, so I won't do that.
No, we gotta keep this nice and for the youngins, but no, it's definitely not for the youngins, but, yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. Yeah, check us out next week. We have a very different podcast called I Don't Know Though, where Joey hosts it, and he will have some questions then. I was about to ask him if he has any, but I know for a fact he does not. So,
Nope. No, sir.
but no, sir. But that's okay. If you want to ask me questions, you can use the hashtag Noah asked, and we will see those. Or you can hit us up at Twitter at the @humorish_TM.
Yeah.
And if you're watching on YouTube, ring that notification bell and subscribe, and you will get notifications on when we're about to go live, which is not always when we plan on it. So,
Yeah. Yeah, no, like, today we both forgot, didn't we? Well, kind of.
mm,
Yeah, in a sense forgot, so it's amazing that we're here at all.
yeah, but we're on time ish, and that's a miracle.
It is.
So,
It is a miracle, and I just wanna say that, as a note, it's a new year. It's a lot of promises coming up. I don't really believe in resolutions, but I do think that this is gonna be a great year just for you and I in general, Noah.
mhm,
So I hope that you'll accept this journey with me with
yeah,
pride.
for
All right.
sure. And I'm excited, and I hope our viewers will join us too, because I think there'll be a lot of growth and a lot of fun, entertaining things coming along the way. So,
Yeah. But bye,
but thanks
guys.
for watching, everyone. Bye.